Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the stream. Got some stuff to do today. Got to play for fleet placement like I always do with my Saturday streams. The Lex Talionis account is ready to try the Wat Tambor mission. So I think we'll do that. Try to see if we can get a good piece of footage down about how to do Wat Tambor mission sort of with minimal geos, and see if we can get that on record. I already did that with the TCO account too, and so it's in there previously, but for the next round of people that might be watching my starter guides, I think it'd be nice to have that with the Lex account, kind of show how that works. So we'll give that a shot today. I will say the mods on the Lex account are worse than any other account that I've had to date, so pretty much bottom of the barrel modding on this on these geos. So we'll give that a try. I got a story to tell today. My opponent in Grand Arena on Loquitur is a monster. Like, he full cleared me and has, I don't know, like 5 GLs on defense, and so I don't think we got much of a chance of pulling that GAC out. So I got a story that I can tell y'all. As usual, it's just a personal story, something that I learned a lot from, and I'll share it with y'all, and maybe it'll help somebody else. And if not, at least I'll try for it to be entertaining, get you a good laugh or two out of it. Also, for people who like a lot of different sort of gaming stuff in general, I was watching this new series on Netflix. I saw it. It's a Delicious in Dungeon, and I like Dungeons and Dragons, so I was like, the heck is that? So I started watching it, and it's like this weird fusion between an anime and a cooking show. So they're going through this dungeon and they're killing monsters and they're going on adventures, but then like everything they kill, they cook and eat. It's a pretty wacky premise, but I don't know, it was entertaining, so I was watching some of that last night. Delicious in Dungeon. Yeah. All right, wow, we got the ult already. Look at that, super speed ult. Let's go. Okay, we'll do that and some of this, and we'll put it on auto. And then we'll go catch up on chat, see who we got over here. We got Playlist. He says, hey, fun fact, did you know you're my favorite streamer? It's always nice to hear stuff like that. I mean, you do streams, you do content, and you get some positive feedback. Also get a lot of negative feedback, so people are very quick to point out every mistake and criticize your content and tell you that your opinions are wrong. So it's always nice to hear a positive comment when somebody likes something that you're doing, so I do appreciate that. Bruno Passaro says, hello there, everybody. Vitor's here. Jar Jar Bink says, Misa here. Nice. Arva Blood Spirit says, hello. Cody's here. Hey, DL, how are you? I'm pretty good. How you doing, Arva? You still going to school, Arva? Are you about done? Are you about got your degree and moving on up yet, or are you still got some years to go? I don't know what team I want to play for my arena team, for my squad arena. I put Leia in there, but I thought maybe she would help me climb, but then I dropped like a stone over the last couple days. I was up to like, I don't know, 21 in squad arena or something like that. I put in Leia, now I'm back down to 60. So they got my number. I don't even care if this wins or loses. I'm just doing a battle to get my daily quest and then moving on. Playlist says, you taught me a lot about efficiency. We don't have to agree 100% on the stuff, but you definitely know what you're talking about. With account building, yes. I'm not like I'm not the new events guy, and I'm not the theory crafter figuring out how to best use like a certain character in the game. I like the account building side of things, like you said, the most efficient way to build characters and stuff like that. So yeah, it's fun. I hope I help people. That's the goal, especially newer players, giving them a good resource with kind of a structure where they know that once they follow that, they won't be wasting all their resources. Whenever I start a new game, that's something I always think about. Like, if I spend 1,000 energy, have I spent it on the right kinds of things, or did I just throw it away and, 6 months from now I'll be regretting everything I've been doing up to this point because I'll figure out like, oh man, I should have been doing that all along. So that's good. That's what we want to do. So there's Leia's up top. What team? Baze Malbus and Old Ben. Who else has a Leia team up top? Lots of Jabbas up top, huh? Okay, Kanan Jarrus and Old Ben. Han and Chewie. I guess they must just play more matchups per day than me, because, like, I basically just play the one that I need to get my quests done and then hope that I hold placement overnight. We'll get rid of the victory vector sign. Your mod videos changed me from neglecting mods to kind of having an idea what I'm doing, and the filters are great. Goat. Leia isn't good for Arena anymore since the Datacron for her and Drogan left. Ah, so the Drogan Datacron made it. Put it over the top. I can see that. Okay. Let's I guess let's just dive into the Grand Arena here. See how far we can get. And then we'll do some storytelling and work on the Lex Talionis Wat Tambor mission. So I come in here to look at my opponent. RFJ Killer. 10.2 million galactic power, 4.3 in ships, 5.9 in characters. Galactic War Battles won 28,000. Almost 7 years on the account. He's got Leviathan. He's got all the stuff. Leviathan, Executor, Profundity, Malevolence, Negotiator. All of it. Every capital ship at Relic. All 8 Galactic Legends. And all the stuff. You know, Malix, Revens, Malgus at High Relic. Relic 8 on Malgus. So just like all of the best stuff in the game. No problem, he's got it. No frivolous stuff here. Still some stuff at Gear 12, like the Dark Trooper, that, could be an opportunity, but what do you tell the man with everything? Nothing. You got nothing to say. Let's take a look at speed here real quick. Commander Ahsoka Tano, fastest non-GL character, 361. Let's take a look for Mara Jade if he has that. Pretty fast. 348 on Mara Jade. Oof. That's out of the range of my troopers for sure. Get down to Zori Bliss. Still over 300. Alright, so he's got all the characters. He's got good mods. He's got all the ships. And that's pretty much what we see. He full cleared me and still has a lot of stuff down on defense. Whoop-de-doo says hello. Playlist says 7 years is kind of wild if you think about it. It's a lot of patience invested. Hapsu says, are Loquitur and Lex the only accounts you're still playing? Yes. Yeah, I've tried playing 2 accounts, and for a while I tried playing 3 accounts, and I don't have the time for it. And especially right now, we've got we're changing software at work, so the enterprise software that runs our inventory and scheduling and customer orders and invoicing and everything, like the whole background software is being changed to a new system. So work is pretty intense right now. So yeah, I play the 2 accounts, and I put a minimum amount of time in them right now. I don't do some of the things I should be doing, but it's a game. It's for entertainment. So if you focus on the game more than you focus on your job, I think that would be a bad thing, at least for me. I'm not at the point yet where I can quit my job and be a streamer, that's for sure. Within the next month or 2, I'm hoping to finish out the Lex account. We'll tie that off. I've learned a lot from that, but I don't plan to continue playing Lex. I played it as a project to, stay in touch with the early game and understand how it looks for new players. I've done that. So what I'll probably do with that second account is I'll start playing a different game. I might start covering a different game. We'll see how things work out. All right, so we have, 3 GLs in this zone. We've got Jabba here. We've got Lard Vader with no Datacron. We've got JML with Jedi Knight Luke with no Datacron. And then we got the Malgus team that I really don't have a good answer for without a Galactic Legend. We might be able to use Traya or something there. And then up top we've got Rey and Leia. And Zori Bliss. And then a Qui-Gon team and a Radis team. So this defense looks pretty scary to me. I honestly don't even know what I'm going to do with Leia here. So out of all the GL stuff that I have, I feel like I might have to use... maybe we could use Jedi Master Luke here. We can use Kenobi here. But I'm not convinced that's a great matchup. So if we use Kenobi there and JML on the Rey, that means we have to beat the JML team here with Sith Eternal Emperor, or we have to use Sith Eternal Emperor here and find another solution for the troopers, or for the JML. Now, I have beat JML in the past with Imperial troopers. I don't know if I can do that against this team, but I've done it before. It's easier in 5s where we have access to, 5 troopers and a lot more turn meter. I don't think it's going to work in 3s. Let's try Lord Vader first. I mean, we know what we're going to do there, so we'll take that team in. We need we need everything, huh? I think Beskar probably has to go in here because this Maul is going to kill all my dudes. So I think without Grief that we'll just get overloaded with damage over time. So we need Fennec to kill things, we need Grief to keep the damage over times off us, and we need Beskar to make sure Everything goes together. Now let's see if we can find blind. Well, what's this? Mandalorian can't be revived after using discipline setup. Until he uses swift takedown, he can't be defeated. Immune to fear, stun, turn meter reduction. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's that helpful here. Where's the blind one? Can't be revived. Bonus turn. Well, that might be a good one. Where's the one that says, there we go. Each time uses a basic ability on their turn. Reset their cooldowns to gain 100% turn meter. Once per character per battle, but it's still pretty good. Okay, so we've got that one. Or we've got this. Crit avoidance, tenacity, potency, resistance. Not that great of stats. Alright, we'll use this one. Try to get a couple extra turns in. Alright, let's get in there and do this. Alright, there's all the initial debuffs. Take those off. And we was not enough to get the contract. That's interesting. But now we do have the contract, so we'll take that. We'll reduce armor here just to make that guy easier to kill. Maul's popping off over there. Alright, we gotta go in and try to get some damage down and get at least one of these guys dead if we can before Vader gets his ult. Don't know if that's gonna happen at the moment. Yeah, we're just gonna have to do the kick because, yeah, okay, we got one out. That's good. That's gonna help. There, you got the ult. Oh no. Oh man. Okay, well, Maul went crazy on us, and oh man. Now we got a Lord Vader to clean up. There's just way too much stuff. I'm just gonna practice with a few teams and call it a day. Because I mean, once I dropped that battle, he full cleared without dropping a single battle. So literally, I dropped that battle, the GAC is over, right? Like right now I've already lost. So yeah, we'll just take the opportunity to practice a little bit. Throw some other teams in here, see what we can get done. Tenacity, crit damage. Well, at least it's got crit damage on it. Alright, we'll take that. You always need to kill Maul first against that team. Just use Fennec and ignore taunt. What are some ways that I can beat Tuskens in 3s without a Galactic Legend? Tuskens, you just have to have a big area effect hit. Or you have to have one of the Datacrons for bounty hunters, or something that says things cannot revive. So the cannot revive Datacrons are super strong. I developed a couple of them, and then, you know, when the new set came out and it has a Datacron with, you know, scoundrels or, you know, Mandalorians. I think it's specifically Mandalorians. It's pretty good. The do not revives are pretty good. Area effect like Dash Rendar. You know, you work both of the Tuskens down to a certain point on their life, and then hit the area effect and kill them both at the same time. That works. I should have hit Leia there. I'm completely not paying attention. Yeah, this is over. This is completely over. What could I do here? What kind of experiment could I run on this one? I think we will try Imperial Troopers. Just for the, well, Relic 7 Dark Trooper, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. We'll try anyway. I mean, nothing to do here but practice anyway, so. See if we can get some good stats somewhere. Lots of crit damage on this one. So let's get in there with a wing and a prayer. He's going to hit us right away. With tenacity down and daze them. Yeah, it's not going to work in threes because we can't get something in here to clear that daze. Once we get dazed, we're done, right? And if we put this trooper in, then I think we can clear all the dazes, but then we don't have the dark trooper in for damage, or we have to kick out Piet. Oof. What would that even look like? Yeah, without Piet in there, I think that team's horrible. If it was fives, we could do Veer's Dark, like Gideon, Piet, and the Scout Trooper. And I think we'd probably have a good chance. Yeah, this is... I really don't feel like wasting my time on this, guys. Pretty unmotivated to try just to keep flailing around against this guy. But let's try to do a couple of these battles for science. What can we do against? Yeah, let's try the Treya versus the Treya versus Malgus battle. Just see if we can get that to work. Imperial Troopers here doing a nice job. Killing some clones. Send in the clowns. Anybody here an Austin Powers fan? Alright, so then we'll go here. We'll try Triumvirate just for funsies. See if we can make that work. I did get my Treya Relict last week. I still haven't done my very last account update from last week. I'll do last week and this week, and then we'll be caught up again. We'll do Savage, Treya, Nihilus. We've got Treya at Relic 1 now. So we'll see if that helps us much. Savage can do Savage things. And they'll one-shot Nihilus. There'll be a point where like we're working along and then they'll just hit Nihilus and kill him. And that'll be sad. That's pretty much the only way that I can win this, is if Nihilus stays alive and gets an execute on Malgus. Okay, we're going to get turn meter here someday soon. There, we got some. Got some turn meter. Alright. Let's skip it. We don't have turn meter after all. We had some for a moment, but that all went away. Would you be willing to do be a full-time YouTube streamer if you had the chance, or do you enjoy your work too much? I've said before, like if you, I guess, look toward how people identify themselves. I've never thought of myself as a YouTube influencer, right? Like I've always thought of myself as a guy with a job and a family and a hobby of making YouTube videos, right? So if you said, "Hey, would you quit your job and be a YouTube streamer full time?" I don't feel like that would be me, but on the other hand, if like I got fired tomorrow, my boss came in and said, "You know what? I've had enough. You get out." I might try doing that for a little while I was working on getting reemployed, for example. And, if I was trying to get another job and then found out like that it was working, then maybe that would change my mind. So if circumstances forced me to try, I suppose I would, but not intentionally at this point. And not with Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, right? Because at the end of the day, the biggest streamer on here, if you said, well, you'd have to be as big as Arnold to to make it as a full-time streamer. I don't want that. I don't feel like that's what I'm looking for. But maybe for just normal content, like non-gaming content or something, or I've had some ideas for other things that I want to do. I just haven't done them yet. Hey, look at that. We hit Bastila. With 1:42 to go, we actually got a couple turns in here. Come on, Nihilus. Get a turn here, buddy. Is there some way that we can not lose turn meter? Is there something that lets us get turns? Yeah, we're way off. We're still 3 off on an execute. And they keep fearing us and taking away our turn meter, and I don't know that there's anything that's going to work here. We'll just keep it on Malgus and hope that somehow we generate the execute in time. The cooldown reduction just killing me. If they weren't reducing my cooldowns, we would have had an execute for sure by now, like the first time we get a turn. But with getting the cooldowns increased, nothing we could do. Alrighty. How about you guys? If you could have any job in the world, anything, doing anything, Elon Musk comes and says, you can come work on SpaceX with me. Like, any job in the world, what would you want to do? What's your dream job? The thing that you would love to do more than anything else. We could practice against this Zori team. What do we have that we want to throw against Zori? Zoriatic arthritis. What does Wampa do here? Is there a tenacity down anywhere in this kit? Tenacity down. I mean, obviously Wampa doesn't work for this, because if it did, everybody would just use Wampa against Zori. But I don't... I guess they just do too much damage. Zori's in stealth. So Zori's in stealth and can't be counterattacked. What's stopping Wampa from being good here? Dispel debuffs, all allies, deal special damage, rally resistance allies. Inspired, special damage twice. And then he's got takedown and taunt. Expose and stun them for 1 turn. Crack shot. Balanced tactics. I guess it's just too much damage for Wampa, huh? Boris Balkan said, I can't say my dream job on here. I'm guessing you'd like to be a certain kind of actor then. Playlist says, I honestly couldn't answer that question. Arva says, I think part of me would still love to become a game designer. Did you know that with the new Datacron you can have more than 4 stacks on Dark Trooper? Oh wow. The one that allows you to add stacks to Dark Trooper lets you take it over 4. If you go over 4, do you get more punches? I mean, do you get 5 punches if you get 5 stacks? Jar Jar says dream job would probably be granddad. Great granddad. That's cool, Jar Jar. I like that. Just be a good family member. My dream job, I love solving problems. I think if I could do any job, I would just have a site on the internet, and people could just come ask me questions, and I'd have somebody who could sort out those questions into, like, you know, things that I could actually help with, and I would just help people. I would just like answer questions and try to help people do better, be better, you know, have a better career, whatever. So I can tell you guys my story. I'll start doing the storytelling, since I'm trying to figure out what to try against this Zori team. I think I am going to try Wampa here. I'm just going to throw Wampa in. I'm going to put a, you know, mediocre Datacron on. But then we're just going to try to see, is there a reason? Is it just so much damage and Wampa just crumples? Or is there a tenacity down in here that I'm not understanding where it's coming from? I think it's just going to be damage. I think they're just going to hit Wampa so hard that, that there won't be a chance for me to get stuff done. Get some counterattacks there. Womp for some extra protection. We'll ramp, because I don't really want to attack into the counterattack. Okay, as long as we keep getting counterattacks, we keep healing up. Okay. Damage immunity on now. We've got 10 stacks of damage over time over here, so, you know, that's probably good, right? Okay. Well, what am I missing, guys? It worked. And Zori has 2 Zetas and an Omicron. Finn and Finn have Zetas. Huh. The protection with the Zori Omicron is that if you have less allies, they gain stats, I think. Arva says, I think in 5v5, Zori you get trained, but in 3v3 it's weak. Yeah, well, there we go. So, in spite of all of the other losses that I'm having in this particular round, we found out that Wampa might beat Zori teams in 3s. That's some valuable information. Might be able to use that in the future. We'll take in Rogue One here, practice this matchup against the Quiggy team here. Qui-Gons. Let Qui-Gons be Qui-Gons. 2 tanks. Or is it 2 tanks? No, it's just Mace. Got Mace, we got Anakin and Qui-Gon himself. We'll do this just to take off all of the 5 sites. Alright, and then we got to see if we can get the buff immunity onto... Yep, there we go. Buff immunity. Good. Now we get over here to Qui-Gon. We'll give him all the things. And then we make Anakin mad. Pop all those exposes. Nope, never mind. Too much foresight. We don't get to pop the exposes. Okay. Oh, man. Cassian's about to go down. Let's heal up. Try to keep him on the board. Now we can pop exposes. Should be good. 57 banners. That's a good matchup. I like that matchup. I think what I want to try here is the Sith Eternal Emperor. Because I believe that this should work, right? In 3s. So we should be able to link up Leia with somebody else. Drain protection. Oh. Oh. Now, when she gets to her ult, it's over, though, right? So she'll get to the ult. She'll put the ult on my Sith Eternal Emperor. And at that point, I'll lose all of my protection. And once all of C's protection is gone, it's probably over. Dang! That tank has a lot of hit points. I think. Maybe I don't have the Zeta on that red tank. Maybe I need to look into that. Alright, Drogan going crazy. Let's get our protection back up here because we can. Now we'll go into the ult. And we're about to say goodbye to our protection here. That is just so much damage. Okay, we'll link these guys. Get 2 instances of protection back for what that's worth. See if we can get R2 out of here before things go horribly wrong. Okay, we still got our protection though. I thought her ult got rid of our protection. Maybe it's okay. Maybe we have to have a certain amount of stacks of stuff on there for that to work. I'm gonna relink here just to get more protection up, back. Wow, it's taken a long time to get to this second alt. This is not cool. We need to heal more. There's the logs. We're going to relink again. Try to get another instance of gaining protection back. R2 comes in under the protection, I think. Somebody. Yeah. God dang it. I feel like that matchup should work. Maybe what I need to do in the future, instead of the cleanse and protection back, maybe if we put the one that heals both life and protection, maybe that would have worked. Although in general, turn meter trained teams can't beat dark side teams right now with the Doubt Datacron. Arva says needs a Relic 9 Sith Eternal. Yeah, I don't know if I'm willing to go Relic 9 on Sith Eternal. I think there's a lot of other things I would rather do. I'm going to bail on this arena. This guy just, he's got good characters, good mods. He's got me outmatched. So I don't know. Congratulations, good job, great account, and I'm not motivated to keep trying that. Okay, so let's do a story, and I got time to go do one more fleet battle, so I'll try for fleet placement here, and we'll start telling a story. Now, today's story is going to start out with somebody in a management position, very high up in the company. It was a woman who was running a large international company that I worked for. And she was a very strong personality. She wasn't there for a popularity contest. She didn't care if people liked her or not. For example, she had this thing where she never wore red, and she mostly wore like business suit kind of attire. And then sometimes she would wear a red dress to work. And when she wore the red dress, somebody was going to lose their job. And it was just a meme kind of thing, right? Like, she wore that red dress when she was going to fire people, and I mean, she had several different red dresses, and if she came in 2 or 3 days in a week with red dress on, the heads were rolling somewhere. So, on one hand, in the position of leadership, you can't sometimes announce or talk about or make public who's getting terminated, but even in the cases where you can't make it public, if everybody knows, well, the red dress is on today, so somebody's getting fired, then, you make a point and you spread fear among people without ever having to say exactly what happened or why or to whom. So I always thought it was like a I don't know why I think this, but like a pirate tactic, like it's really underhanded and kind of evil to do that to people. To make them afraid intentionally. But so that I'm again just speaking to her character. That's the kind of person she was. Not necessarily in a brutal way, but certainly in a no nonsense, not afraid to make people fear for their jobs kind of way. All right, so then moving on to my story that I want to tell. At the time in that company, I was an engineer. And I wasn't the project manager, for example. I was the engineer working for the project manager. And the maintenance shop in the factory was actually built inside the factory, and it just got put somewhere where there was room for it. And over the years, it outgrew that amount of space. So the maintenance shop was tucked into the corner and then came out of the corner and around the corner and was a mess. We didn't really have room to put in, standards had changed, indoor air quality standards, and we had to put in ventilation for the welding, stuff like that, and there was no room for it. So at some point, you gotta say back to the company, this isn't working. We need to do something different with our maintenance shop. So we started working on a project and put together a bunch of information, got a bunch of quotes on cost for 3 or 4 different ways to set up this maintenance shop. And this took months. I mean, it takes, if you prioritize it and it's the only thing that you're doing, it doesn't take that long. But if you're doing it along with the rest of your job, it takes quite a bit of time to scope a project, put it together, get all the quotes, and then make some kind of comparative analysis. And we had a building on the back side of the property that was basically, we call it a pole barn. I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with what a pole barn looks like, but it's a very basic structure where you've got some structural supports. You got a roof, and the walls are just pretty flimsy, but it's meant to just be basically in the Midwest, a roof to keep the snow out and walls to keep it dry. So our proposal was to convert that, basically build a building within a building and build the maintenance shop inside that structure. Doing it that way made it cheap. We avoided a lot of permitting issues where we would have to get permission from the city to build a structure or put down a new foundation or a lot of different things. So it seemed like a good idea to build it inside there if we were going for basically the cheapest option that we thought realistically would work. So we proposed a project. And the lady in charge, the lady in the red dress, she said nope. And she didn't give any explanation. She just, the next time the project reviews came up, that project was kicked off the list with no explanation. So the guy who was the project manager sent back an email and said, hey, why did this get kicked off the list? And there was no answer. So he was getting frustrated. So he talked to our plant manager and he said, hey, can you contact this lady, find out why it is that she kicked our project off the list? So the manager sent her a letter and said, hey, my guys are asking what happened here. And so she responded to him finally and said, I'll be in the States next month. We'll talk then. So, okay, sounds good, I guess. So a couple months goes by, she comes over to the United States, and we're having a meeting, and all of the staff, let's say the staff for the plant, engineers, HR, all that, we get together, and she goes over like the project list for stuff that's going on in the company, kind of the big picture agenda, ties that back to the local objectives, and the manager is talking about his plans for the year. And so this meeting goes on for a long time, and we never get to capital projects for the facility. So my boss was the project manager. My boss at the time, he was very, very much the stereotypical engineer, and you could see the longer the meeting went on with a whole bunch of stuff that didn't pertain to him, the more agitated he got and irritated that he wasn't getting any answers. So by the end of the meeting, he was pretty frustrated. And so when she got to the part about, are there any questions? He said, yeah. Why did that project get kicked off the list? And she said, well, I'll talk about that later. just went past him again. And this guy is just turning red. And he's like, oh my God, I can't. But you're afraid of her, right? You're afraid of this lady because she's no nonsense. And if you push her and start asking questions after she's told you no, you risk getting the red dress treatment the next day. So you just got to sit there and shut up and wait for her to do whatever she's going to do. So we get done with the meeting. It finally wraps up and nobody has any more questions. And she points at me, points at the project manager, and says, you guys stay, everybody else leave. So everybody else scurries out of the room. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy's like an anchor, right? Like I've tied an anchor around my foot and I've thrown it overboard and now I'm tied to this guy. But the meeting didn't go that way at all. So she very calmly, said, look, I looked over you guys' project. Is that what you really want? So the project manager immediately starts explaining, yeah, that's what we want. The maintenance shop is out of date. We really got to update the maintenance shop. We got to meet these compliance requirements, safety first. We got to get this set up. So yeah, that's what we really want. And she looked at him and she's like, really? This is really what you want? And he's like, yeah. And I understood. It clicked with me when she said it the second time. I figured out what she was saying. And project manager started talking again. And I sort of butted in. And I said, no, no, it's not what we want. So she looks at me and she's like, okay, what do you want? And I said, we want a new maintenance shop. We want a permitted, purpose-built maintenance shop that we can build that has the right amount of space for inventory, the right amount of space for machining, the tools that we need, a little bit of space for expansion, but not too much. But yeah, we want the part storage to be organized. It needs to have this much indoor space and about half again as much outdoor space for the stuff that we could store out there. That's what I really want. And she said, well, why didn't you ask for it? And there's only one answer to that. Well, we didn't ask for it because we're pretty sure that you don't want to pay for it, right? And she said, how do you know what I want to pay for? You don't know. If I'm solving problems for the company, maybe the best thing is to solve it in the right way so it's solved for the next 25 years and I never have to look at a maintenance shop project again in my life. And we invest the money and it's good for the company and it helps you guys and it's the right thing to do and that's what people want. And at the end of the day, we're all happy about the project because we did something in the right way and made the company more valuable because now whatever the property was worth, it's property plus another, properly permitted building. And she said, maybe that's the project that I want to sign off on. And of course, the project manager said, well, does that mean you're saying yes? And she was so clever. She said, no, I said that's a project I might want to sign off on. You guys get me the cost, scope it out, ask for what you really want, and we'll see what happens. So we went back and we redid the project, and come to find out, building the building on its own in the right way didn't really cost that much more than what we were asking for in the first place, and it wasn't as much as we originally thought it was going to be. So we threw all of those assumptions out. We got real quotes. We asked for the project, and we got a brand new purpose-built maintenance shop. And I'll tell you, guys, that was a hair-raising experience. But I learned a lesson there that I've maintained for the rest of my career. And now I do that to other people. The kicker to that story, we had that whole conversation, which was pretty intense. We came in the next day, and she was wearing the red dress. And I literally, I looked at the project manager and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, we did it, man. We pushed it too far. But yeah, the red dress wasn't for us. It was for somebody else, and it was an overseas thing. And so it wasn't us. But man, yeah, man, whew. That's funny. Was she a fan of the movie The Sixth Sense? Every time there's red in the scene, it means that someone is dead. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. There's a lot about The Sixth Sense that's a pretty cool movie. A strict but smart lady. I will, honestly, guys, I did not have the proper respect for her when I was in that job. And she finished her tenure with the company about 5 years into my career with that group, and left. And I was mostly afraid of her. Like I heard the stories and I saw some stuff and emails that came from her, and I thought she was a terrorist. I really thought that she ruled by making people afraid. When I look back now, she was really inspirational. She was very tough-minded, but very fair, right? And in having that fair mentality, if you fell on the side of, you didn't know your job or you didn't know your stuff and you were asking her questions in a meeting, she would put you in your place and cut you down to size and make you feel about an inch tall. She did not tolerate incompetence, right? But that didn't make her a bad person. And, knowing what I know now, being a woman in that role just made it that much harder to fight off all the people who probably believed that she didn't deserve it. I can see very well why she conducted herself the way she did with that, that little bit of an edge where, don't cross me or it won't go well for you. If you don't have that ruthlessness when you get that high up in business, you can't do the job. You can't do the job. You have to have some certain kind of, I'm trying to think of how to say this. It's a combination of intelligence and self-confidence and resilience against the people who are going to second guess everything you ever do. So, yeah, she was, when I look back, I think I probably could have used the times that I met her and was able to spend time with her better. Because when you got her one-on-one and you were competent, she was very helpful. And just like that conversation with myself and the project manager, I mean, she wasn't mean to us. She wasn't condescending. She just wanted us to understand, like, you're asking for a bad project because you think that's all that will get approved, but that's the wrong way to do business, right? That's not what I want. All right, we're going to look through mods for these geos, and then we're going to try this Wat Tambor event. So we've got speed and potency here. So you guys tell me, should I steal my best mods from other characters to make this most likely to succeed? Or should I do it with really mediocre mods to kind of see what can be done? So that's the two different ways that I could do it. I could really just kind of use what I've got and see how it works. Or I could put a little bit better mods on here to try to guarantee that I get a Wat Tambor shard. Which way would you guys, anybody in the channel who actually wants to see this content, how would you rather see it? Made some improvements there. Got a little bit more speed. Confirm that. I don't know if my heart would stand that, lady. Yep. Yeah. It would. I mean, again, I don't know how to explain it. She was scary, but she wasn't like just firing people right and left. She was very fair. I think that's the thing that I really need to get across. You know, she was scary if you weren't doing your job, or if you were full of baloney, right? Like you were telling her everything was great when it wasn't great. Like she had no tolerance for that stuff. But if you were doing your job and you were trying, she was very fair. Helpful even. Hey Deal, how's your weekend going? I used to follow your videos, but then took a 2-year break from the game and just got back to it. Hey, welcome back then. Help me, I can only apply one singular Zeta on Galactic Legend Kylo. Which one should I do first? Oh boy. The first Zeta on Galactic Legend Kylo, I would have to say the leadership. Do the leadership first, and then probably Galactic Legend second for all the you know, if you got him up to Relic 7, that's 70% more hit points and stuff. That's a massive jump in your durability. So I would probably do leadership first, and then do the Galactic Legend one as soon as you can. That's my opinion. If other people have other opinions. She was like the Thrawn of the company. Yeah, Thrawn was more ruthless though. She's like a more balanced version of Thrawn. I don't know though. You're right, because Thrawn is like he's really, yeah. That is a pretty good comparison. The Thrawn of the company. Whoop-de-doo says, I knew the story was going to end with the red dress. Yep. Yep. Playlist says, I got a picture of Thrawn in my head for how you describe her mentally, and harsh for incompetence. Yep. The meta changed a lot. I've been watching a lot of Lex Talionis to see what to go for nowadays. Boris Balkan says Thrawn in the red dress. Arvis says the thing is, once you feel confident in your own work, that red dress loses a lot of its scariness. It's scary when you're new or unconfident. Yeah. So yeah, I'd have hated it for the first few months and probably loved it once I felt good in my job. All right. Mishkela says, I just want to say thank you. They're pretty helpful, even though I understand it's painful. All right. Well, nobody mentioned what to do with the mods. So I'm going to go with, I'll just spruce up the mods a little bit. I'm not going to use my best mods. I'll try to use a little bit better mods where I have them. But we'll go in here with some pretty mediocre mods, see what we can get done. And defense mods are really bad for geos because of the way their mechanics work. I don't really want to use defense mods, but that's what I've got. Alright, Geo Spy, crit damage here, health. There's a way for us to get... Yeah, the speed isn't too much of an issue. Excuse me. Let's sort by offense. And let's even try to get an offense arrow going on here. That's a health arrow. That's speed. Do I have no offense main stat arrows? Or is... what's going on here? Let's just look for offense main stat arrows. Wow, I don't have a single speed arrow with an offense main stat. That's amazing. Okay, let's try to put a speed mod down here then to get our set bonuses back. We'll steal a speed mod from somebody and just go fix it later if we need to. Alright. Don't care about spy so much on speed. We'll just get the offense up. Although that didn't do that much for my offense. Oh well. Alright. What else? Soldier. Crit chance all over the place. That's what we want here. I don't think we have anything better right now in crit chance that I want to steal. It's fine. And the reason you want crit chance on the Geo Soldier is due to his passive. Poggle 214. Health, that's fine. We'll take that. Okay. Let's go take a quick look at the soldier here. Oh, that's not the soldier. Let's go back to the soldier. So, Geo Soldier gains 25% turn meter when scoring a critical hit. So, most importantly on him, you just want to get critical hits. So you get free turn meter. Alright, let's go do this. Let's go to the event. How do you know when to focus on units or ships? What journey do you want to be on? So if you're not top 5 in fleet, you know that you want to focus on a fleet journey, executor, profundity, or making your executor profundity better. Scoring top 5 in fleet gives you so many crystals every day. It's insane. So if you have those, your account building is accelerated by a lot. If you don't get them, you should be working on getting them. Once you've got that under control, then how do you know what characters to work on? You pick a journey. So currently you would say, well, the highest density of value in the game right now is the Leia journey because of the current raid. So as you build Leia, you build characters for the raid. You'll eventually build into a galactic legend. A bunch of the characters there are useful in other areas of the game. So that's basically how you decide what to build. You go journey by journey, and then if you want to fill in other things in between, you fill them in where it makes sense. All right, so the geos are actually already in order. When you do this mission, you want to order your geos in so their basic abilities do what you want in the right order. Physical damage and dispel all buffs on them. So the first thing you want to do is take away their buffs. If they have tenacity up or something like that, you get rid of it. Then you're going to hit with the soldier and inflict tenacity down. So now you've taken away their buffs. You've given them tenacity down. Tenacity down does not have a potency roll. Tenacity down is negative 99,000 potency, or negative 99,000 tenacity, and it applies before it checks for tenacity. So it's this weird thing where when you apply tenacity down, the buff in the game, when you apply a debuff, the game applies the debuff, then it checks on a tenacity roll, and if the tenacity roll is made, the debuff is not applied in a way that you can see it, right? So the game applies it first, does the check, and then takes it back off if the check succeeds. In the case of tenacity down, it puts tenacity down on, it runs the check, and the check can never succeed. Because by definition, your tenacity is negative 99,000 at that point, and there can never be resisted. Tenacity up, I can't remember the exact numbers, but tenacity up is like 9,999 tenacity, and tenacity down is an order of magnitude greater than that. So even if they had tenacity up, you still apply tenacity down and it sticks. So you don't ever have to put potency on your Geo Soldier because that tenacity down is always going to apply. All right, Geo Spy has nothing on the basic that you care about. It's just a spacer, and then you have your oh dear. Okay, so we have it at level 7 on the basic here. Deal physical damage with an 80% chance to afflict ability block. Now, that means that ability block does not always get applied. And this is one of the big RNG things. If this was 100%, I think you could win this Wat Tambor mission with a pretty high chance of succeeding every time. With this 80% chance, man, sometimes Poggle just decides not to do his job and these ability blocks don't go on. But that's why you order the Geos, right? You put them in the right order, take away the buffs, put on tenacity down, put on ability block, and then characters with area effect abilities won't get to do their area effects against your Geos. As long as you control the area effect stuff, you got a better chance of winning. If somebody does an area effect, you're usually okay. If you get out of control and like 2 or 3 characters get area effect, you're done. You just lose. All right, so we're going to have to soak potentially 2 area effects. Okay. This guy didn't do it. Nope, now he did it. Oh my God. We just got wrecked. Holy cow. Well, that was short. Dang. So I guess there's some minimum speed that we need to hit to be faster than those clones. Because once they started going, they kept going. We never got a turn in. That was crazy. I've never had that happen. Okay. Well, now you know. Dang. That's super disappointing. Okay. So next time we go in there, we'll have to, take our better mods, take a couple of our good fast characters that we've built, and make the Brood Alpha fast, and then we'll try to make Poggle fast. Make sure we get a couple of those characters ahead of everything. When ROTE was released, they did some changes to this fight, and they hit a lot harder now. Dang. Deal, what are you doing for the Super Bowl? Nothing. I'm doing nothing for the Super Bowl. I don't care about sports. Like, literally, I care zero. I always had this feeling for like my whole life. If I could play a video game, if I could play World of Warcraft and go on a raid, any minor success that I can get on my own is much more gratifying than watching somebody else succeed where I have absolutely no influence. Whoever's going to win the Super Bowl is going to win or lose whether I'm watching or not. So all I need to know is, at the end of the game, what was the score? Like I get that sometimes there's exciting plays, but I'm not involved, right? All I'm doing is watching other people succeed. And for me, I'd rather do anything by myself, even if it's, some minor victory. It's still more gratifying to me than watching somebody else do it. So the Super Bowl will be on in the background, but I'll be doing other stuff. And I'll basically know enough about the Super Bowl so that Monday at work, when people are like, hey, what about, that play? What about the commercials, whatever? I'll have enough pop culture to be able to talk to people about the Super Bowl without sounding like an idiot. But yeah, I don't care at all. It's funny. Two out of 12 watt shards. I guess you ain't alone, said playlist. One of those fellows was me. I got to the fourth and lost it. Yeah, interesting. I think a lot of the commercials are online now, including YouTube previews before the videos. The Super Bowl commercials used to be a big thing. Here's another story, guys. Here's another crazy story. I'll tell you a crazy story. There's a Super Bowl commercial that really had a huge influence on me as well. I'm going to say that it was in the Super Bowl in 2018, I think. So it would have been the Super Bowl from the 2017 season, which would have happened early in 2018. I think. Don't quote me on this. There was a commercial. It was some kind of car advertisement. And the opening line of the advertisement was, "When did it become an act of courage to leave work on time?" Man, I don't know what car company was being advertised, but that statement, I thought two things. First of all, I recognized that immediately. Like, there are times when there's work to do and there's things to be done, and I feel like I just can't leave till it's done. And if I were to get up and walk out of the building, like, other people would be judging me. Other people would be like, well, why is he leaving, So I recognize that immediately. Like, it does sometimes feel like an act of courage to leave work on time. The second thing I thought, as a manager, am I creating a work environment where other people feel that way? Either intentionally or just unintentionally, because I'm not thinking about it. Am I managing a work environment where people feel like I will judge them if they leave? So based on the first line of a car commercial, I really started thinking about my management style and making sure that the people that work for me understand, there's a certain amount of work that needs to be done. I get that, but balance it, balance it. I want you to be able to go home to your families. I don't want it to be an act of courage to go home on time. Strange, huh? So there's the value in watching the Super Bowl, getting inspiration from a commercial. DCU says there's also days of the opposite where it makes 100% sense. Arvis says, well, if there's one thing I learned from my time working is that leaving on time is something you should do. It's a bit of each, right? So it's all about balance, and there are days when you just have to put in the work. For people in the industry especially, customers have ordered their product, something goes wrong in the factory, it needs to be fixed, the equipment needs to come back up, the customers need to get their product, and there's nobody else to do it. But the key is, if you stay that day and you put in all that work, are you going to take off a Friday? Are you going to tell me, are you going to come to my office and say, hey man, we had a couple busy days, I'm going to take a comp day, I'm going to take Friday off. And people don't do that because they feel like, well, I just did my job, and if I go ask the boss for a day off, then that's not going to go well for me. So what I try to do is I make it real clear to people, look, if you go above and beyond, you put in all this effort, let's work it out. Let's make it fair. I can't grant you another vacation day, but especially for the staff people, I can give them comp days and, let them off work. And I had a person tell me that they were going to take a half-day vacation because they had a doctor's appointment in the morning. They wouldn't be in until halfway through the day. And it's stuff like that where it's like, you're here all the time. You're here every time I ever need you. Why would you have to take a vacation day to go to the doctor? Forget about that. Come in, give me whatever you can in the afternoon, and it's fine. We're even. I probably owe you for all the extra time you've put in anyway. And if you just sort of acknowledge that out loud to people, I think it makes a difference. I think it makes them at least feel like valued, noticed, and that if they do need that balance, that they can ask for it. At least I hope that's the case. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so let's look at the inventory here. Let's look at my opponent. 2.5 million galactic power. He's got relic clones with a Gear 12 Shock T, probably going toward gas as the first build. The ships aren't all that great. Got some Galactic Republic stuff, got a Chimera. Doesn't have Negotiator or Malevolence. But with this many relic characters, I have 0 relics. So, probably not a good look for us. Full cleared. He's got Revan. Gear 12 Revan team. We might be able to trooper that team. These Imperial troopers, guys, I'm telling you, they're tough. Oh boy, here's the Relic Shock T team. That's a game ender right there. I think we have 0 things that can get through this. Vader's about the only chance we have. So let's do like Vader, Solo, and I don't know, we'll put in Sunfac. We'll throw Sunfac at it. If we can somehow kill Shock T with Vader, we might have a chance, but don't see that happening. These relic clones are probably just going to hit Vader and kill him in 2 shots. So this will be over quickly. Let's see. 5s or Echo. Let's just stun Echo because we don't want the grenade. And Shock T clears the buffs instantly. And yeah, never mind. I don't have the... you get so used to Darth Vader where once you have the Zeta on the leadership, they can never get rid of the damage over times. Every time they expire, they come right back. But yeah, without that on the leadership, Shock T just cleanses it and the battle's over. Okay, we'll try troopers against this Revan. See what we can get done here just for fun. Fierce. Gideon. Piet. Put in 2 or 3 Datacrons. No, never mind. 0 relic characters can't even use a Datacron. Let's see. Look at how much more turn meter we have than them. Isn't that fantastic? That's fantastic. Kenobi's going to get in the way no matter what we do. We have to deal with the savior effect. Nothing we can do there. Alright, so let's just drop the bomb on Kenobi and see what can be done. Now we'll drain their turn meter, do another mass assist. There's the savior done. Let's see if we can get some dazes on everybody so that they get to assist less. And we're just trying to run a turn meter train here. That's all we're trying to do, guys. So many turns as... Oh, now we lost it. Dang it. Gotta get a kill here. Come on. Gotta kill Kenobi. Yeah, alright, alright. That was it. If we didn't get that kill right there, we were going to be out of turn meter on our guys. We got it, though. We got it. I told you these troopers might work. Y'all. Trooper's so good. This Gideon is 1 piece away from being relicked. What a monstrosity. 57 banners. We'll take the free money. We'll go back to fleet. See what we can get done on fleet over here. 294. Let's put this starting lineup. We'll do spy and Plo and Vulture Droid. If we have pretty good control, basically if they don't blow up my Houndstooth right away, we can bring in the Vulture Droid, get Buzz Droids going on everybody, which is really a huge advantage for our team. If they are able to do a lot of damage to my Houndstooth, then we might have to bring in Plo or just the spy to try to get a kill. No harm in doing the area effect here. No triggers that are going to hurt us, I think. Let's kill Rex. Both of the other ships are better, but Rex has protection recovery, and we don't want to constantly be fighting against them healing. That's inconvenient. Okay, now we're in a bad spot. Okay, alright. We'll still go after Rex. We're going to target Anakin, bring in the spy, and just try to wreck him before he can do too much damage to our team here. Houndstooth is going down because we had the buff immunity on it, and I've told you guys before that buff immunity from Anakin is a big deal in the early game, and you can see it there. He just put the buff immunity onto my Houndstooth and they wrecked it. Yeah, the 2 clones are relic level pilots, so that's gonna be it. We cleared 1 zone. We got our points, and GAC's over. So there you go. Disappointing round as far as gameplay goes, but you know, we got a story in. We got to try the Wat Tambor mission to spectacular demise, and that's it for today. In and done. If you shouldn't work by hours, if there's a job to be done, you do it. Yamako, that's true, but what happens, what I've seen before, time and time again, is, especially in an industrial setting, let's say a company starts up and they're making 500 units a week. That's 100 units a day. And they build an organization where all of that makes sense. Over time, they get more customers, everybody's pushing sales, they want more profit, and pretty soon they're up to 600 units a week, 120 a day. They've made some process improvements so things run better out in the factory, and they feel good about that. Then they make some more process improvements, and now we're up to 750 a week. And we're doing good, right? But what they forget is that customer service is now taking 750 orders a week where they only used to take 500. They have to invoice for 750 parts a week instead of 500. So even though we've made improvements in the factory, bought some new machines, increased our throughput, we haven't paid attention to the fact that all the people in the office, the people in shipping and receiving, all those folks are now doing 150% of their normal work, and we haven't done anything to address it. We haven't hired any more customer service people. We haven't done any of that because the stuff runs through the factory in the right amount of time. And yeah, we work overtime sometimes, but that's fine. And then the staff people just get abused because they went from working 40 hours a week to working 50 hours a week to now they have to work 12-hour days some days, and there's work to be done and they just have to do it. But it creates a toxic environment where nobody's paying attention to that, and they're salaried. So as many hours as they work, they don't get paid for the extra hours. They just get paid for their salary, and that's where I see companies like lose the goodwill of their middle management, because the workload just continues to increase as the place gets busier. They address it on the work floor side because it's obvious and you have to be able to make the parts, but the staff in the middle just get abused. Well, we expect you to work 55 or 60 hours a week. Well, no. You should expect to work 40 hours a week. And when the crap's in the fan, maybe you got to work a 50, 60-hour week that week. But it shouldn't be every week. So if you don't pay attention to that and address it, you can really create a bad work environment. DCU says, I think one needs to pick and choose based on the importance and the urgency of what needs to be done. If everything's always an emergency, that's a separate issue altogether. Arva says, if management doesn't put enough resources into a project or whatever, so it gets done on time, then it's on them. It's not my job to fix their mistakes in my free time. If they pay extra for that, I'll do it. So I will say, Arva, that typically management's going to under-resource, and that's actually one of the ways that I got ahead. At my prior company, the stories that I was telling you, the maintenance shop project, all that stuff, we were often short on resources. And when you're early in your career and you're willing to put in the time, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good, and you get a reputation, and that reputation gets you moved up and promoted, and it's a balance, right? So sometimes you work the extra hours to get ahead. The whole key to this message, the whole key is you need to be in an environment where that's a choice. You need to be in an environment where it's a choice, not an expectation, not an act of courage to go home on time. That's the key. If my job reflects 250 hours, but I'm getting paid 170 hours, yeah, I agree, Playlist. That's exactly it. You don't want it to be that your job expectation is way beyond what your salary is. Apparently the Shakti squad or Wampa beat Leia Organa. So she probably should be used on defense. So in context, if you're at the end game, so what happens is, like if you're watching the end game and you see a Shakti team that can do amazing things and where that should be on offense or defense, that's different than when Shakti and the clones represent half your relics, So based on where you're at in Grand Arena, him putting that Shakti on defense is exactly correct. He puts that in the Revan team on defense, and probably a lot of opponents at our level are exactly in the same boat. They can beat one team or the other, but not both. Later at the end of the game, when people have the Galactic Legend Leia and stuff, that's different for sure. Boris says it was fun hanging out. DCU says 2 Revens are solid early characters for GAC, it seems. I see them frequently on defense. Used to be that doing the Revens could be like, is it only 2 years ago now? Maybe it's 3. I think 3 years ago when I did my first, like, starting guides that went, pretty far into the game. The Gladiator path, the path for Grand Arena, the way to be successful in Grand Arena, it literally started out with the 2 Revens. The Gladiator path was about executing, getting the 2 Revan teams going right away in Grand Arena. And in early GAC, it's fantastic. The problem with that build in today's environment, there's no fleet. So you're not building characters that have ships. You're not building fleets that are good for the early game. You're not building into an Executor or a Profundity with those builds. You're not building into a Galactic Legend. So in today's environment, the Revens are, in my opinion, a much later journey. You can build them early and it will help you in Grand Arena, but you could have built something else instead. If you could have built a fleet instead, like Executor, you'd have all those fleet crystals. If you could have built a Galactic Legend Leia instead, you would have a ton of raid participation. You could go into a guild much higher than your GP. So if right now the only thing that you had in your account was a completed Leia journey, there's some pretty high level guilds that would take you, because you'd be getting, like 6 or 7 million contribution for raid. And they would say, okay, well, you're going to be trash in territory wars and territory battles and all that stuff, but, we don't care. 7 million raid participation and Galactic Legend Leia for territory wars defense and whatever else. So there's some good mid-game guilds that would take that account with nothing but a Leia. But if you built nothing but Revens and you had a Relic Darth Revan team and a Relic Jedi Knight Revan team, nobody cares. Nobody's interested in you. You don't have a Galactic Legend. You don't have a big fleet. So to me, the Revens are out. The Revens are out. Jedi Knight Revan you build in the background so that once you get Jedi Knight Luke on a different journey, you can build a Revan team, a team including Jedi Knight Revan. But on my Loquitur account, I'm over 3 years into the game, and I still don't have Darth Revan. And I still would defend that decision and say I'm fine with that, because what I've built instead have been a whole bunch of Galactic Legends. And in the background, I have been able to unlock Darth Revan, but with all the other projects I'm doing, I can never afford the Cairo to keep pushing him up on gear. So I've got this Gear 8 Darth Revan, and it's been in my account for, oh heck, Darth Revan's probably been there 7-8 months now, and never moved off Gear 8. That's what I think of Revans. They're really good, but finding the priority for them when there's so much other stuff to do. And right now I've got Inquisitors to do. I'm late with the Inquisitors. I've been building Galactic Legends, then the Lightspeed bundles came along. So I've been putting off Inquisitors and putting them off and putting them off, but I got to get them done too. Got to get the Grand Inquisitor for the ship. I got to get the Third Sister Shard for my guild. So Darth Revan's still waiting. 3.5 years into the game, Darth Revan's still waiting. I way over answered that question. Sorry. Niamico says lean process in its essence, the bottlenecks everyone's forget. Yeah, it's exactly right, Niamico. You debottleneck the whole factory and forget about the people that are making it run. Yep. Boris Balkan says go to Princeton, get into Harvard Law School, get a job at a white shoe law firm, work 100 hours a week or be fired. Yep. But I'll give you an example. So I have asthma. I go to a pulmonologist, and I called for an appointment a couple months back, and she's retiring. Now, it's the same kind of thing if you're going to be a doctor. You go to school, you go to graduate school, you go to your internship. You you got to work. You got to be there all the time. And if you are an ER doctor, then you're on call all the time. Like it's rough. Get your own practice. You go there all the time, and then people still have emergency calls, nights, evenings, weekends, whatever. But my pulmonologist is retiring, and I'm guessing she's maybe 45 or 50, somewhere in that range. So, you know, the tail end of that work 100 hours a week or get fired story, you work 100 hours a week, but you could potentially be in a business that's so lucrative that that you're done working. Or you get to a point where you can choose your work, start your own practice, work as many hours as you feel like, and still make enough money to do a lot of things in your life. So yeah, it's all of life is balance. Boris says, or DCU says, being a lawyer and billable hours. I know people who have to work on vacation. That's just another level in other jobs. I've done that before. I was in Florida, and I got a phone call that said that they had an unannounced audit that would be in my plant the next day. And I was obligated to pack up myself and my family and my stuff and get on an airplane and be back for the audit the next day. So I'm not a lawyer, but I've been recalled from vacation before. That just comes with, I mean, when you have a big job with a lot of responsibility, things like that happen. And you got two choices. You can either complain about it, or you can shut up and get on an airplane and do your job, you know. If that's happening 5 or 6 times a year, then life is really miserable, right? But if it happens once in 5 years, then you're okay. The thing about that whole thing that really made me angry, guys, I'm telling you, I did my job, I went back. But the thing that made me so mad about that, my boss knew that I was going on vacation. He had also been informed that there was an unannounced audit coming. Now, you don't want to announce the audit, but if I was him, I certainly would have said, you know, hey, you're going to want to cancel your vacation. There's going to be an unannounced audit at your plant. You can't tell anybody. It's confidential, but I don't want to waste your time going on vacation. You know, I would have done me the courtesy of at least stopping me from getting on the plane and going down there, because that was ridiculous. Ruined my vacation with my whole family when you knew ahead of time that it was happening. All you had to do was tell me it was happening, and just tell me not to say anything to anybody, and then it would have been fine. But yeah, it's that kind of stuff, man. It's hard, but it comes with the job. Speaking of fleet, I have 14 Leviathans in my fleet shard. I have a 7-star negotiator with a relic 8 GK. What do you think someone in my shoes should do? Continue toward the Executor or work toward Marauder? Either one. So the Marauder, as I understand it, the Marauder has a, I don't know, it has a certain win rate against Executors. I don't know that the Marauder negotiator fleet beats Leviathans. So if you've done your research on it and the Marauder fleet beats Leviathans, then all I will say is build whatever gets you in the top 5. I don't think a Marauder negotiator fleet gets you top 5 against Leviathans, though. I haven't seen where the Marauder's beating Leviathans. That doesn't mean that it can't happen. I haven't looked for it. I haven't gone out and done research on it. But if it works, then yeah, do that. Do that. Work with what you've got. But if you don't have negotiator or profundity, then I would say, you know, why would you have a relic level negotiator fleet and not have worked toward Executor? I take it all back. Just build the Executor. Why not? Or build the Profundity. Profundity has a Relic 9, which is a pain in the butt. But if you can afford to build it, it's a better fleet for the current meta. But Executor fleet, 2 Relic 8s, very doable. And it's a lot of good characters. Don't be afraid to build these fleets, guys. The Negotiator, or the Profundity and the Executor, they are both really excellent journeys. There's a lot of good characters in there that you want to relic anyway. There's a lot of good ships that you want to have anyway. So those two journeys are two of the highest value journeys in the game. Anybody can do them, and it will pay off in characters. It'll pay off in fleet. That was rough. Which state are you in? I was in Florida. So Niamiko said, stop the Swgoh talk. Let's discuss management. So at the time I was vacationing in Florida. Now, the thing is, I have a bunch of friends that I've had for years. And there's a few guys that I was gaming buddies with back in the late 90s. So we've been friends for 25, almost 30 years now. I had arranged a vacation in Florida. I love to do things for people. I love to give things away. I like to use the money that I have to help other people. I think it's fun. Can't always afford to do that, but when I can, it's fun. So we had arranged a resort in Florida, and I was on vacation with two of my best friends in the whole world. So it was my family and two other families. So all of us at a resort in Florida, planning to spend 8 days just hanging out, rehashing old times, swimming, entertaining the kids, go to Universal, whatever, right? Like it was an Orlando, Florida vacation. Second day there, called back, done, over. My friends stayed. My wife wouldn't stay without me. She felt so guilty that I had to go back that she came with me. So yeah, but I'd rented the rooms and all that was all arranged. So my friends got a nice vacation and they got to spend time together, but I had to go back. It was, yeah. I don't like thinking about it. It still bothers me because at least if we would have been told ahead of time, we could have rearranged it. We could have switched our time and gone another time and worked it out with my friends for a different time when we could have enjoyed that time together. All right, we're going to hang it up there for the day. That's it. I'm going to quit talking about leadership and management and Super Bowl commercials. Man, we've been all over the place today, huh? I hope you all are entertained. I hope that this kind of stuff is fun. I hope that it makes you think. And like somebody said earlier, we don't have to agree. Like with a lot of the stuff that I'm saying, I have an opinion. I think what I think for a reason, but I don't claim to be right, and I don't claim to pass judgment on other people for what they do. So I hope that if there's one thing that I help everybody that watches this channel, be open-minded, let other people have their opinions, have some tolerance for that, be willing to invest some time in the discussion without there having to be a winner. Because when you can debate things and nobody has to win, it's a really good feeling. It's fun. And you get a lot of stuff discussed. But when somebody has to win, man, it's brutal. All right, we're going to sign off there. Please remember to hit that like button on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. Notification bell to know when I'm online doing my streams. And the usual stuff with Discord. Join us over there. We've got a really nice Discord community for mid-game players, new players, to learn some things about the game. Hope to see you over there. Thank you all for hanging out with me, and we will see you in the next Holocron.